Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Can I have a quick +1 in the chat if I'm visible as well as equally audible? Then we would start right away. Let me just turn on my preview screen. Okay, fair enough. So I'm equally visible as well as audible. So Durgati Singh, hey Durgati, how are you? Abhishek Gupta, yes, it started. Okay. Okay. Yeah. The second question was very tricky, to be honest. Okay, so we would just wait for a window of just a countdown of just 1 minute, and then we would start right away. So let's just wait for 1 minute so that everyone just joins, and after that countdown ends, we would just start right away. By the way, tell me, how was your contest today? Quickly tell me how many of you were able to solve, how many of you were able to solve it just right after the contest. Quickly tell me. Arpit, how many of you, how many were you able to solve? Tayaba Chaudhary, Himanshu Shoni, Abhishek Gupta, Durgavati Singh. Can I have a quick feedback from you that how many problems were you able to solve? Okay, so the timer ends now. So let's start with today's session. Okay, today we would be doing interview series which was just held 1 hour ago on 7 p.m. IST on 26th of December 2021. Just let me lower down the quality of my preview so that your experience will be better. So today it was based on Morgan Chase, and the question names were count pair with the given sum and total decoding messages. And the accuracy of the first question was very good, that is 70%, and the accuracy of the second question is quite good, okay, it is 29%. Now let us look at the first problem, count pairs with the given sum. So we are given an array of n integers. So an array is ARR this, and n integers means 4, so that means there would be 4 elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, we have understood. Then an integer k, okay, k is also provided. Find the number of pairs of elements in the array whose sum is equal to k. Fair enough. So pair of elements means 2 elements. So what we can do is, first we would make 1 and we would fix this one, and then we would see the rest of the element. So 1 and 5, yes 6, so I would just write 1 and 5, fair enough. And then the next element, that is 1 and 7, 8, no it is not. So, and then 1 and 1, that is 2, no it is not. Then we would move it to the next step, that is 5. 5 again we would count what? 5 with 1, okay, yes, 5 with 1, 5 with 1, 5 with 7, okay, 5 with 7, no it is not. 5 with 1, okay, again 5 with 1, fair enough. So now we would again go to this 7. This 7 plus 5 is equal to 12, no it is not equal to k, so it won't be there. 7 plus 1 equal to 8, no it won't be there. 7 plus 1 equal to 8, that is also this won't be equal to there. So again we would come here as 1, fair enough. Now this one, when entangled with the first one, it would make the sum as 2, no it is also not valid, so it would go to the next 5. So 1 plus 5 is equal to 6, yes, 1 plus 5, so 1 plus 5, and then 1 and 7, 8, no it is not there, fair enough. So now we can see, okay, so क्या किया बेसिकली हम लोग ने क्या किया इज दैट, सो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने एक एलिमेंट को फिक्स किया और बाकी सारे एलिमेंट से कॉम्बिनेशन करके देखा, ठीक है, दूसरा एलिमेंट फिक्स किया, बाकी सारे एलिमेंट को कॉम्बिनेशन करके देखा, फिर तीसरा एलिमेंट फिक्स किया, बाकी सारे एलिमेंट्स को कॉम्बिनेशन करके देखा, ओके, सिंपल. सो what is the answer is that the output is 2 but the number of pairs that we have received is 4, okay. So यहाँ पे कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, something is wrong here. So how can we resolve this? Okay, the second observation is that we are counting the same pair again. First female and male, then again male and female. So just the same pair, this side also, this side also. So क्या कर रहे हैं ना, एक पेयर को दोनों साइड, जैसे 1 और 5 है, so ये हम लोग ने ले चुका हूँ, ठीक है. उसके बाद जब इस 5 पे आके इससे कंपेयर कर रहा हूँ तो वो 1 और 5 फिर से ले रहे हैं हम लोग. ओके, so we can say that we are again consider one pair is counted 2 times. So what we can do is, the number of pairs is 4, so just divide it by 2 and the answer would be 2 itself. Fair enough. So I got the answer is 2. So I would just write, yes, the output is correct, answer is 2. Now I know that each pair is counted 2 times. Okay, so next what we can do. Okay, so just so moving forward, so we can see that if we suppose I am at, so this is what, so suppose this is AI. Okay, AI plus AJ is equal to K. This is what is there, and we need to find what? We need to find AI and AJ. This is what we need to find. So the next step would be what? Suppose we know what is AI, then the other element would be what? K minus AJ. Sorry, yeah, K minus AJ. Yeah, we are going correct. Just that side. So this plus would become minus there. Fair enough. So now what we can do is, we can save all the elements, hash all the elements. Okay, so suppose we could hash that 1 is 2 times, 5 is once, 7 is once. So we have now hashed all the values. Suppose I hash the values with the help of a map. Fair enough. So the next what we would do is, suppose I went to this 1. So what I would do is, 1 is equal to K minus, okay, so 6 minus this element. So 6 minus 1 is equals to what? Okay, suppose this is AJ, and this, let's suppose this is AI. Let's suppose, sorry, I took it the other way. Suppose what I would do is 6 minus AJ. So 6 minus 1 is equals to 5. So we would just count how many 5s are there. Okay, we found 1 5. So we would just write 1 here. Fair enough. And then we would proceed to this 5. Okay, and then 6 minus 5 is equals to 1. 6 minus 5 is equals to 1. Now I would count how many 1 are there. 1 are there, wow, 2 times. So I would just write 2. Okay, now I would come to 7. 6 minus 7 is equal to minus 1. Minus 1 is not there, so 0 would be added. Then we would again come to this 1. Okay, 1 pe aaya. Now 6 minus 1 is equals to 5. Again we have only one value, that is 5. So 5 is once. So we would just write here. So 2 plus 0 is equals to 2. Okay, and then 1 plus 1, that is equals to 4. So we now know from the previous observation that we just need to divide it. So 4 divided by 2. Fair enough. So now what we can do is, we can use an unordered map. Okay, unordered map. Why not map? So we have two things, that is map and unordered map. Map and unordered map. So let us learn about these two. Map has a time complexity of log n for the operations, and the unordered map has a time complexity of big O of 1 in average case and O(n) square in worst case. So we would take, and most of the time it is average case, so we would just make use of this unordered map. Fair enough. So now we would first hash the values. What we would do, first hash the values. Okay, and then what we would do is search for the next value. Search the count of next value, and then what we would do is divide by 2. Okay, this is what is the algorithm. Am I correct or not? Just quickly tell me if you have successfully understood this or not. I would just wait for 1 or 2 reply. Okay, just tell me if you have not understood, tell me quickly, I would explain you. If you have understood, I would simply go forward. Just tell me quickly that you have understood or not. Okay, solved one. Okay, Arpit solved one during the contest. Okay, that's good. Pavleen, okay, that's good. One and second, I couldn't evaluate my solution and I ran out of time. Okay, no problem. You would solve both the problems. First one was one of the well-known problems. Yes. Second was also well-known, but didn't knew it was also decode ways. Yeah. Please explain it in Hindi. Yeah, I am explaining it I am explaining it in English, but the people who are more accustomed or more comfortable with speaking in Hindi, I explain to them in Hindi too, so that they would feel a connection with me. एक अपनापन सा लगता है mother tongue में. Okay. Okay. Can you repeat? Okay. Can you repeat this? Tayaba, which one to repeat? Can you tell me which point to repeat? In the previous example, if count 5 is equal to 2, then what would you calculate? Okay. Just leave everything. I'm just explaining once more. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. So we need to find how many pairs have the sum as k. Suppose the first number in the pair is x and the next number in the pair is y. So they would have a value k. That means this is valid. So what I can do is, this first number is equal to k minus the second number, I can say. Okay. So suppose we have what? Suppose I have 5 and then I have 1, 1, 1, 1 and the k is equals to 6. So 5 can be paired with the first one, 5 can be paired with the second one, 5 can be paired with the third one, 5 can be paired with the fourth one. Okay, that is why I am searching for the count frequency of second value. So now I know that the frequency of second value is absolutely very important. Okay, so now what I would do is I would start hashing the values. Okay, now I know the frequency is important. So 1 has a frequency of 2, 5 has a frequency of 1, 7 has a frequency of 1. Fair enough. Let's move forward. Okay, so now I came at this one. So let us keep this y. So k is what? 6. 6 minus 1 is equals to 5. So 1 can be paired with, suppose this is 5, 5. So 1 can be paired with this 5, this 5. So it depends entirely upon the count. Okay. So I would just write the count of the number. So 1, so our number of 5. Number of 5 is what? 1. So we would just add 1 to our answer. Answer is equal to 1. Then we would again come to this 5. So 6 minus 5 is equals to 1. How many 1 are there? There are 2 1. So we would just add 2 to our answer. Okay. How? I have just showed you. Then 7. 6 minus 7 is equals to minus 1. Minus 1 has no occurrence. So we would just add 0 to the value. Then 6, 1. So 6 minus 1 is equals to 5. How many 5 are there? There are 1 5. Okay. Now the answer is equals to 4. But here the answer is equals to 2. What is in that case? I would explain you. Okay. So what is happening here is that suppose k is equal to 6 only. And I have 1, 5, 5. Okay. So 1 is being paired with this 5, this 5. Okay. I understood. Now suppose I am standing at this one, 5. This 5 is again paired with this one. And this is already counted. And this 5 again, and again this would be paired with this one, and this is already counted previously. That is why we are counting the same pair twice. So what we need to do is 2. Suppose the value is multiplied by twice. To get the original value, what we would do is we would divide it by 2. So the value would be 2 itself. Fair enough. So now we know that the value is 2. Okay. So quickly tell me, if now why we are hashing. Okay, solution is not important. If you go and look at the solution, you would get it. Solution is not important. How we are coming to the solution, that is important. How we are kind of getting the idea that we need to use hashing. How we are getting the idea that we need to divide. This is very important. Okay, So tell me if you have understood this thing or not, okay, as well as the solution. Okay, quickly tell me. Yeah, got another approach. Yeah, that is one another approach. But this approach is kind of very simple, more than you. Just quickly tell me if this is clear or not. Just quickly tell me. I'm observing. +1 got it. One person got it. May I have more replies so that I can proceed? Or I would be explaining again. I have no problem in explaining again. Okay? If you don't understand it 100 times, I would be more than happy to explain you 100 times. No problem. That's absolutely fine. Okay, fair enough. That is why. So now we have what? Hashing the values, then searching for the next value, and then dividing by 2. Okay, fair enough. We have this. Okay, so if you implement this, then you would be getting what? You would be getting WA. What is the meaning of WA? Many people use. WA means wrong answer. Okay, wrong answer. And this would result to 1 penalty. Fair enough. So why are we getting a wrong answer? Why are we getting that? Okay, I would tell you that. Okay, if you just use this, whatever I told, you would get a wrong answer. Okay, whenever you get a wrong answer and you do some dry run for more test cases. Okay, fair enough. So now let me give you a test case where this algorithm is failing and we need to explicitly handle that test case. तो बेसिकली क्या हो रहा है कि ये जब इम्प्लीमेंट करोगे तो आपको रॉन्ग आंसर आएगा. क्यों आएगा? क्योंकि किसी एक जगह ये कोड फंस रहा है, हमें वो चीज अलग से हैंडल करना पड़ेगा. फेयर ना? सो लेट्स स्टार्ट डूइंग दैट. ओके, सपोज k is equals to 4. Okay, k is equals to 4, and then the number of, suppose the number of 2, 2 and then 6. Let's not make 6, just write 2 and 2. Okay, fair enough. Then the number frequency would be 2 is counted twice. That is what. So we would first come to this 2. We would first come to this 2. So this 2 has a frequency of what? 2. Okay, this has a frequency of 2. Now answer is equals to 2. We move forward and then again we would come to this value, and again number of 2 is 2 only. That is what the answer here is what? 4. Okay, the answer here is 4. If we divide it by 2, the answer is equals to 2. Okay, but the answer is not 2. How it can be 2? There is only 2 elements. Okay, so we would simply have one pair and answer coming is 2 pair. How is this possible? Okay, कहीं तो हम लोग गलती कर रहे हैं. The mistake is where, suppose what is the thing is that 4 minus 2 is equals to 2 itself. So if k minus the element is equals to the element itself, then we need not count that thing. So same चीज पे count नहीं करना है. This is the example. Okay, and this is where we would do -1. So quickly tell me, this was the point where many people were missing this. So can I have a quick yes or no? If you want to say yes, just reply with a 1. If you want to say no, just reply with a 0. If I get more than 1 0, I would explain you this test case again. But this is absolutely simple. Till everyone is replying, let me just again explain you. Suppose k is equals to 4 and we have 2, 2. So 2 is equals to 2, that is answer is 2, plus again 2. The answer, resultant answer is 4. 4 divided by 2 is equals to again 2. Okay, but the 2, there are only 2 elements, so we can have only one pair. Okay, so our answer is wrong. So whenever k minus the value is equals to the value needed, then we would subtract 1. Okay, am I clear or not? Can I have a quick yes or no? I'm still waiting for the reply. Okay, Just one people replied. Can I have a please more than one people? Please. Okay, so Tayeb also. So you don't need to write so much yes or no. Just write 1 or 0. Fair enough. So fair enough, this is done. Now let's proceed to the solution. The solution is absolutely very simple. We would just initialize an unordered map, then we would move forward and we would start hashing the values. So we have just hashed the values. This is where we would hash. Okay, that hash table that we have drawn. Initially the answer would be 0. Okay, now the answer would be what? Answer is equals to answer plus, in the map let's see that frequency k minus the current value. Okay, that is what we are doing. If what is there, k minus e is equals to e, then we would subtract 1. Let's do that also. If k minus e is equals to e, we would subtract minus minus. This is what answer is equals to answer minus 1. This is written as ans minus minus. Okay, this is just short form. And then at the end we are just dividing the answer by 2 and then we are returning it. Okay, so just reply with me with a 1 or 0. This is yes and this is no. Just quickly tell me if this is done or not. Ayush Jharia, as there was only 1 0, that's why I didn't told you. Now that I have explained the code, did you understand that or not? Let me remove the annotations too, so that you would know that you have understood or not. Yes, the time complexity would be big O of n, because we would take the average case. So how is it big O of n? While everyone is replying, let's see that also. So from 0 to n we are traversing. So time complexity for this is big O of n. Fair enough. And then we are hashing the values. This thing has a time complexity of constant. And then we are adding the values. This is also constant. This is adding and subtracting. This is also constant. We are kind of traversing the whole array again. So big O of n. And dividing, this is also constant. So the maximum thing that we have found is big O of n. That is the upper bound. That is why the solution, a time complexity of the solution is big O of n. Ayush Jharia, as far as I think, you have joined this stream little bit late, because divide by 2 thing is already explained 15 to 20 minutes ago. The last thing which is explained was just the k minus e is equals to e. This is what is there. So I think that is already passed. Okay, let's move to the next problem statement. Okay, just let me make it a little bit big in size. Okay. A top secret message containing letters from A to Z, capital A to capital Z, is being encoded to the numbers using the following mapping. A is mapped with 1, B is mapped with 2, C is mapped with 3, D is mapped with 4, and Z is mapped with 26. Fair enough. So you are an FBI agent, you have to determine the total number of ways that the message can be decoded. Okay, as the answer can return very large answer, so the answer should be modulo 10 to the power 9 plus 7. Okay, as the answer is very large, so it won't fit in the regular integer data type, so we need to do modulo 10 to the power 9 plus 7. Okay, now there is also written that empty sequence is considered to have only one decoding. Fair enough. It is assumed that the input contains valid digits from 0 to 9. So the input would contain 0 to 9. Okay, and if there are leading zeros, then it is not valid. So what is there? So just let us write leading 0, not valid. Extra trailing zeros and 2 or more consecutive zeros. Extra trailing zeros and 2 or more. 2 or more 0. Okay, then it is an invalid string. In invalid string, you need to return 0. Okay. That means that you can't explain. This is not the case. I have already explained in today's stream only one more time. There is no hard feelings for you, and I'm not prioritizing anyone. The thing is that after explaining each point, I am asking everyone if they understood or not. Suppose I am at the 5th chapter and you are asking a doubt from the 1st chapter. The doubt session for the 1st chapter is already over. So don't you think that it would hamper and it would lead to wastage of time for the other live stream, other people who are watching the live stream? I think so. If that is not the case and many people disagree with me, more than one people disagree with me, I would be explaining you again. I have no hard feelings for you. Just tell me if more than one people disagree with you, disagree with me and agree with you, then I would be explaining you. No problem. Okay, fair enough. Okay, and apart from that, if you want an explanation once more from my side, okay, just text me on LinkedIn. I would explain you again in Google Meet. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm not a good explainer, I know, but I'm trying my hard to improve. So tell me where I need to improve. Just don't tell me that I'm bad. Tell me the ways to improve too. Okay, I'm open to criticism, but tell me where I can improve. Just saying me that I am bad won't solve the purpose. Just tell me where I am bad. How can I improve? Tell me that also. Helping me that. Okay, fair enough. So we had a lot of talk regarding this. So 1, 2 and 3. Fair enough. So we can write this as capital A, capital B and capital C. This can be written. Okay. And then 12 can be written as what? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. K, L. Okay. So L is equals to 12. So this 12 whole can be written like this, L, and 3 can be written as C. So L, C. Okay, this can be written like this. And then it can also be written like this as 1 would remain the same. That is this A, and 23 would be from the last third. So 23 would also be the whatever the character, suppose it is X. Okay, fair enough. So that is how we would proceed. So we are just making combinations. Okay, so how would we solve this? To solve this problem, we already know that there shouldn't be any leading zeros. So first let us talk about when it is an invalid string. So first we would simply see, so it is written here only, it is mentioned here only, that an empty string, if there are leading zeros, so we can say that if the first character is equals to 0, that is s of 0 is equals to a 0, then it would be returning 0. Return 0. This is from the question itself. And it is also told that if there are more than 1 0, then also it is an invalid string. So if s of I is equals to 0 and s of I plus 1 is equals to 0, then we would return 0. These are the cases for the invalid string. So s of I is equals to s of I plus 1 is equals to 0. Fair enough. Let's move to the third point. How are we making the observations? Okay, fair enough. So let's move forward with this. So extra trailing zeros. So we can see that suppose we have what? Something like palindromic partition approach. Yeah. Do we need to do something like palindrome partitioning approach in this question? Yeah, first it seems that it is a palindromic partition question, but in the palindromic partition we use two states. So the time complexity is O(n) square, fair enough. But the needed time complexity is what? The needed time complexity is big O of n. So it's a clear indication that we won't be using the palindromic partitioning approach in this question. Yeah, it's good that you are trying to relate this, but if you have a clear hint in the question that you can't use a particular way, then I don't think there is any, it provides of any use to go in that direction. Okay, fair enough. So now let's talk about this. Okay, so what can be seen here is that suppose we have 1 0 and 1. Okay, 1 0 1. So 1 0 1 can be done what? So 0 can't be written in any way because A starts from 1 and B, then we go to till 26. So 10 needs to be written like this. 10 would be like this and 1 would be like this. Okay, and then again 1 0 1. So if it is 0 1 and this is 1, this is not also not there. Okay, so we can say that there is only 1. Okay, fair enough. So now let's take a better example so that it would explain a little bit of logic. So what we can do is let's take 4 1 4 1. So this 1 can be written as A, and this also can be written as A, and this also can be written as A, and this also can be written as A. Okay, and then what we can do is we can match this. Okay, so this 11 would be converted to what? K. Okay, K A A. Okay, then we can go to this one. Okay, A K A. Okay, then we can go to this one, that is A. Okay, that is what? A. Then we have again A and this time K itself. Fair enough, we have again got that. Let's move forward with this. So now suppose we have this side and we have this side also. So what would be the value? K and K. Okay, fair enough. So now let's start the third one. So 1 1 1 1 1 1 is much greater than 26, so it won't happen there. So in that case, fair enough. So now what we can do is we can keep this alive. Okay, keep this alive and these two fixed. That is what. So this is what we can see that we are trying. Okay, we are kind of building the solution till this point, this point, this point. So what is the thing is that we have something, an idea that suppose it is just like the mean recursive approach. So it can be seen that suppose what is there is that suppose till now the answer is 5, till this point the answer is 5. Okay, and I got here 2 branches. What is that 2 branches? I have got here one way and I have got here one way. I would explain you. Okay, suppose 5 and in the next side I have 1 and in the next side I have 2. Okay, so 5 would match with 1 also, 5 would match with 2 also. So it would be like this 5 1 and 5 2 also. Okay, so this would be instantly multiplied with that previous value. So we now know that this can be solved using recursion. Okay, fair enough. So we have many things to handle. Okay, many corner cases to handle. We need to handle the invalid case also. That is why, okay, we need to handle the invalid case also, and we need to handle this case, the invalid case, as well as compute the answer. So handling all these cases, okay. So I don't know if you have heard this or not, but many people would have heard this. Sometimes writing the iterative solution in dynamic programming is more easy than the recursive one. I don't think everyone would have heard it, but I think that most of them have heard it. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Let's move forward with this. Okay, so arriving at the recursion was not as straightforward. Why it was not straightforward? Because it is a kind of combination thing. So if suppose if from this side I have 1 and this side I have 2 and this side I have 3. So 5 can be handled with 1, 5 can be handled with 2, 5 can be handled with 3. So it is something like that. Let's suppose I am at this position and आगे में कुछ हुआ. So उसके साथ भी जाऊंगा, इसके साथ भी जाऊंगा. And the number of ways would be multiplied with 2. Because यहाँ तक suppose मैंने 5 तक आया था. तो 5 के साथ उसके भी multiply होगा. That would be also be multiplied. That is what is there. Okay. So whenever we see that branching kind of thing, we first think of recursion only. Fair enough. So let's move forward with this. Okay. So let me tell you what we are doing here. Okay. So what we are doing here is that dp of I is equals to, okay, dp of I is equals to number of ways, okay, number of ways to do that. Okay, and now this is the state. Okay, so state is defined. The second thing that we need to do is calculating the intermediate step. Okay, calculating the intermediate step, and then we would just, after doing the intermediate step and the state, then we would find the base case automatically. Okay, fair enough. Let's move forward. So dp of I would be definitely equal to dp of I minus 1. It can't be less than this. Fair enough. And it would be added to what? Okay, it would be added to what? I would tell you. Suppose it is feasible. Suppose this is 27. So if this is 27, then there is no point in breaking one branch, because there is no character with the value as 27. So if the value is less than 27, but greater than 0, then we would consider the value of dp of I minus 2. That is what? The previous value plus the branching one. That is what we would do. Okay. dp of I, what does dp of I means? dp of I means at a particular position. Suppose I am standing at the second position. So dp of I would mean that till the second position, how many number of ways it can be there. Okay, that is what. Let me just block this person. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so I have successfully blocked this person. Okay, so let's start looking at the implementation, and things would come into place. Okay, and even if you don't understand after the implementation, I would be more than happy to explain you again, no problem. So let us do the dry run also, because as Ayush said, I'm very bad at doing dry run and I should be working on the dry run thing. So if the first character is 0, we would return and we would say 0. That is what is in the first case. So we would return from the first case itself, and then we would be using the size of the string many times. So we are calculating and keeping it to the n. Okay, then to make it safe, I already used to like long int. That is why I have used mod of 1 into 9 10 to the power 1 in 9 plus 7. That is what is there, mod 1 in 9 plus 7 10 to the power 9 plus 7 mod. That is why I have written mod and then I have written it. And then vector of long int. Why vector of long int? So that I can first assign a value greater than int max, and then I can take the modulo. If you want to do it in integer, what you can do is, okay, a mod plus b mod plus the whole mod itself. So even if you don't know this solution, even if you don't know this formula, this can be easily implemented by using long int. And at the end, just before computing the answer, just do modulo mod. That is what. So now what we would do is, we are moving to which place? We are moving to I minus 1. So we need to calculate I, so that we won't have a segmentation fault. So calculate I minus 1. So I minus 1, and the next calculation that is needed is I minus 2. Fair enough. So we should calculate the 0th position and we should calculate the first position. Fair enough. So let's calculate the 0th and the first position. The first position will always have one value. Why always have one value? Because if the first character could be what things? 0 to 9 itself. Okay, fair enough. So 0 to 9 would be what? 1. So 0 can't be there in the first character. Why? Because we have checked it from here only. Now we have the values from 1 to 9 because 0 is already handled in the first line itself. So from 1 to 9, even if it is 1, even if it is 2, even if it is 3, we would have a value. That is why the value is equals to 1, the smallest test case. Okay, fair enough. So let's move forward, and then we would start from 1 itself. Okay, because 0 and 1 is calculated, so we would just start from 1. Okay, if it is equals to 0 and it is greater than 2, okay, if it is equals to 0 and it is greater than 2, that means what? Greater than 2 means what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the values greater than 0, and these are the values at the current position. So if it is 30, if it is 40, if it is 50, if it is 60, if it is 70, if it is 80, if it is 90, then we would say that yes, we can't have all these values, and we would return this thing. Okay, that is why if it is greater than 0, we would simply return from that position. Okay, fair enough. So now what can be the next procedure? The next procedure is that if a minus 1 is greater than 0. Why greater than 0? Because if it is equal to 1 0, 1 0 can be represented in only one way, because 0 can't be represented in any way. That is why this is just I minus 1. Okay, if I minus 2 is equals to 0, okay, then 1, if it is capital 1, why we are doing OR here, I would explain you that. Okay, because if 1 is coupled with 0, it would have a value. This value is valid, 10 is valid. If 1 is coupled with 1 1, then also it is valid. 1 is coupled with 2, this is also valid. 1 is coupled with 3, this is also valid. 1 is coupled with 14, this is also valid. 1 is coupled with 19, this is also valid. Apart from 19, there can't be any value. That is why if I minus 2 is equals to 1, then we would simply add that value. If it is not equal to 1, then it should be less than 27. Less than 27 and greater than 0. Then we would add the previous value. After that, whatever the value has came, we would just take the mod of it. We would just take the mod of it, convert it to the integer, and we would return it. Now I would start removing the annotation, read each and every line carefully, and tell me where you think that explanation is needed. So let's mark the line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. Tell me where you are not able to understand by just mentioning with the line number. Okay, quickly tell me, and I would be starting a timer of 2 minutes because this is a dynamic programming problem and this deserves a 2 minutes. Okay, just tell me the line number and I would explain you again. You have not explained very well of the last approach. Okay, it seems that suppose even if I have explained it fair enough, it seems that I am not working for you. Okay, because it is a general case that a single medicine doesn't work for everyone. Okay, so I am not the medicine for you. Okay, so you should, okay, you have, okay, can you explain this by an example? Yes, sure, why not? I would explain this with an example. Okay, suppose we have 1 1. Okay, suppose let's take the value of this, what is given only. What is the value given? That is 1 2 and 3, and the value is 3. So 1 2 and 3, and the answer is equals to 3. Okay, let's do the dry run. So we have first created a DP of n plus 1. How many numbers are there? 3. So let's create a DP of n plus 1. One, 2, 3 and 4. Fair enough. So let's start filling the values. At first 0. So dp of 0 and dp of 1 is equals to 1. Fair enough. And the first value is not equal to 0. So we would not return from this point. So this won't happen in this case. And we would 0 and 1 would be filled with 1 itself. And these all values have 0, 0 initially. Fair enough. Okay. And then we would move to what? If stri is equals to 0 and I minus 1 is equals to 2. Okay. So this value is equals to 2. No, this value is equals to 2. Yes, this value is equals to 2. And the next value is not equal to 0. So this is also not valid. And let's see this value is equal to 3. Yes, it is greater than 2. Yes, it is there. And the current value is not equal to 0. So we would just remove this. Okay. Fair enough. So we won't return from this point also. Then we would come to 0, 1, 2 and 3. We are at this position. Okay. We are at this position. Then we would first, if it is stri minus 1 is greater than 0, what is stri minus 1? Is equal to this value. This value is greater than 0. So this value would also have a value 1. Okay. Then if stri minus 2, that is the previous value, is equals to 1, then it can be coupled with everyone. So we are adding what? I minus 1. So I minus 2 is equals to 1. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So we would simply write this value as 2 itself. Okay. This is done. Next we would move to this value. This value is greater than 0. So it would have the previous value first. So previous value it has had. I minus 1 is equals to 1. No, it is not. Fair enough. And then we would come to this position. If I minus 1 is less than 7. Yes, this one is less than 7. It is 3. This would work fine. I minus 2 is equals to 2. Yes, this is equals less than equals to 2. So this would be what? This value. I minus 2. dp of I plus I minus 2. That is this value. So 2 plus 1 is equals to 3. And then we are returning the last value. That is why we would return 3 itself. Okay. And in each point we are doing mod. Okay. Okay. Just tell me if you have understood it or not. Quickly tell me. Okay, so Ayush Sharia, as far as you are telling me all this, okay, it's absolutely fine. But yeah, I may not be very best. I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst, as you are telling. Okay, I know I'm not the worst, and I'm not the best. Okay, so I don't deserve these all spamming from your side. Okay, so please, if you just try to avoid it, it would be very helpful. Okay, I don't even know you, so just taking all this hatred from a person you don't know is a kind of depressing for a person. Okay, it's kind of affects the other person. Okay, because I don't know you, you don't even have a profile picture of your own, but I have a face, I have an identity, and you're kind of throwing that mud to me, and it affects the mental state. Okay, thanks a lot. For arriving the approach for some problems. So for arriving the approach for some problems is that what you can do is you should start solving the easy problems. That is what knapsack problem. Then one person told that palindromic partition problem. Then there is a 0-1 knapsack, then fraction, many more. So what you can do is you can first try the recursive approach, then memorize it. Recursive approach, then memorize it. And then what you can do is after doing the recursive plus memorization, submit it. And but before going to the next question, submit the same question doing the iterative approach. Okay, so if you do these all steps, first recursive, then memorize, and then iterative. If you do these three steps for each question, you would be very good in all DP problems. Okay, DP problems are a kind of very big bit on the tougher side, so you need to have a good practice to understand it. I don't get the line and need of line 7 for loop. Line number 7 for loop. Okay, what this is checking is that, okay, just let me explain you. Line number 7. Okay, fair enough. So line number 7 for loop. Okay, if the current value is 0 and the previous value is greater than 2. Greater than 2 मतलब क्या क्या वैल्यू हो सकते हैं? Greater than 2 means 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, not more than this. So if the current value is 0 and the previous value belongs from this, then it is not valid. Why? Because 30 is not valid, 40 is not valid, 50 is not valid, 60 is not valid, because we have only 26 alphabets. Okay, and 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 is not our answer. That is why this is the case. This is the need of this, and this is clearly mentioned in this only. Okay, this is clearly mentioned that it is assumed that the input can have, if there are leading 0, trailing 0, that is if it is an invalid string, we need to return 0. Okay, fair enough. Anything more you want to ask, just mention the line number and I would be more than happy to explain you. Okay, would it be possible to have a recursive plus memoization problem for this problem, or it gets more complex with the recursive plus memoization approach? Okay, but the thing is that if you just use recursion plus memoization, that is what I do most of the time. So what the problem is that handling these all cases individually in that recursion, you would be kind of very much, you won't be able to do it very easily. It would kind of make the program more complex than doing it for the iterative one. So what I did personally was, I wrote the recursive approach in my pen and paper and I directly implemented the iterative one. That kind of helped me a lot. This is the way I did it. Any tips to go from memoization approach to iterative? I'm good with recursive but can't always convert it to iterative for some problems. So what you can do is, just copy the cases. Suppose let's talk for the knapsack problem. Okay, in the knapsack problem there are two ways. If the current weight is greater than what is the capacity, so what you can do is, you would just ignore that. You can't include that thing. Okay, so you would just write the recursive and all those condition, take out all those condition, write it inside a for loop and just see which is getting filled first. Suppose you are coming from 0 to n, then you need to make the loop run from 0 to n. If you are kind of making the loop from n plus 1, if anywhere in your recursion you are going to n plus 1, that means that you need to go from back, okay, from n minus 1 to 0. Okay, these are some small things that you can do. Okay, so if you are kind of going from n plus 1, okay, then you need to come, if you are calculating n plus 1, then you need to come from back. If you kind of making n minus 2, then you need to come from the front, okay, from 0 to n. That is what is there. I hope you understand. Okay, so I would still be again waiting for the next 2 minutes. Yeah, control is very less in recursion, that is why. Okay, so just tell me quickly, because I'm still getting doubts. Till I'm getting the doubts, I would explain you, and after the doubts closed, I would just remove this. Okay, so quickly tell me if this is all clear or not. Can I have a quick yes or no? Because I'm kind of today very confused, because I'm not able to get if this is. So it is so if it is in between of any string, then it may be counted as so if it's in the between of any string, then it may be counted like 1 2 3 0 5 6 1 2 3 0 5 6. So 30. So if that is 30 now, that is 30. So 1 2 3 0 5 6 1 2 3 0 5 6. That is what the case. Let me write it here so that everyone would get a clear idea what I'm trying to say. You have provided a very good thing. Thanks a lot, Suraj. So 1 2 3 0 5 6. So we know that this 30 needs to be used very thing, because 0 can't be used individually, it needs to be coupled. So 0 can't be coupled with this side because it is 0 5. 0 5 is not valid. So we need to couple it with the front element. So that is what 30. So to handle this case, we are using this for loop. Okay, because we directly have 30. Okay, so I just confirm. So Suraj Prasad, just confirm. Suraj Prasad, just confirm if you are done or not. After you just confirm if you are done, then I would just end this session. Quickly tell me if this is clear or not. Okay, thank you. We'll try those tips. By the way, is any GFG block from memorative to iterative? It would be helpful. Thanks for again, Betty. So what you can do is, I have a different so what you can do is, I didn't find any block, to be honest. So what you can do is, you can just send me a request on LinkedIn. We would be connecting on Google Meet, and then I would be explaining how to convert from memoization to iterative. But before connecting with me, please keep some popular memoization question ready. Then we would be connecting and I would be explaining in just in 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, kindly explain. Okay, I feel difficult in traversing recursion. I am difficulty in traversing recursion. So what you can do is, you can practice a lot of question of tree, graph, linked list, these all question, backtracking. Okay, do a lot of this question, because if you are not good with recursion, you won't be able to do dynamic programming. Okay, kind of dynamic programming is the root is recursion only. So if your root is not good, you won't be able to do dynamic programming. Okay, now you got. Okay, thanks a lot, Suraj. Really, okay, yes, we got it. Thanks for that. Okay, yes, thanks. So thanks a lot. Thanks for attending this. Thanks a lot. Thanks for attending this session. Hope you like it. If you liked it, you can just appreciate me by sending a good comment. That would increase the reach of this video. If you don't like this, you can criticize me, but with a proper reason, so that I could implement it and improve it in the next time. That's all for today. Good night. Take care.